Hi, you're listening to The Island of a Lost Pilot by Rajesh Bhatia, narrated by Deepak Agnihotri. Chapter 25 The Mystery Behind X. Shekhar and Rohan quickly unpacked the bags and all the items were placed on the grassy land. There were clothes, canned food, water bottles, bread, gas stove, matchstick, lighter, utensils, lanterns, biscuits, tent, sleeping bags, rope, medicines, soap, etc. Every item which was required to keep them alive comfortably for about a few days. They will have to make some escape plan within this time. Let us have something to eat, and then we will be able to think properly, suggested Shekhar, and both set to work. Shekhar fixed the gas stove, opened a can, and started heating the contents in a pan. He gave a plate to Rohan, who had opened the bread packet and had already taken out a lot of slices. Shekhar took a plate for himself and both sat to eat. Both ate in silence for some time. After so many days, Rohan had a good food. Not proper, as the proper food was one which his mother cooked and served at home in India. "How is everyone at home? How is mom?" asked Rohan, as the food reminded him of his mother. "Very bad, Rohan. Indeed very bad. Listening to this news, she had a mild heart attack and was in the ICU of Global Hospital when I left India. But the recent news is that she has been discharged and is recovering well in home. Dad, I wanted to reach home the earliest possible, but that bloody pilot of yours had closed all the doors. He had flown with all the money I had," regretted Shekhar. "How much money?" inquired Rohan. "Somewhere near $53,400 in cash. Besides that, he will sell back all the stuff and make some more money. He must have had a lot of commissions also. The heavy aircraft rental and the services charges were all extra. I wish I had kept some money, which would have served me to reward the persons if we ever found a vessel here by luck that could have taken us to the shore." "From where you had arranged so much money?" asked Rohan. "Oh, that. I have sold our plot of Gurgaon, Sector 39. "Oh, but Dad, don't worry about the money." Rohan stood up, went to the cave and brought a thick packet with him. Took out the bundle of dollars Chang had given him and handed it to Shekhar. Shekhar took them casually, went through them and was startled to look at their denominations. He made a mental calculation and exclaimed with extreme surprise and worry in his voice, "This much money? Such huge money is involved in drugs. No, we should not keep this money with us. It is dangerous. We should hand over this money to the authorities." "It is up to you, Dad. We should be safe and reach home safely." Shekhar kept the packet safely in a bag below the clothes and took the tin of coffee. "What about that person, X? Let us call him also and invite him for food here," suggested Shekhar, as he started boiling water in order to make coffee. "Oh, he is savage and does not understand a word. I have tried many times to make him a friend, but he will not listen to me." "Okay, we will try it later, but now let us fix the tent and make ourselves a bit comfortable." They fixed the tent, which was large enough to accommodate 6 people. It had 2 gates and 4 windows. In one corner, Rohan arranged items which were used in kitchen for cooking and required daily. These items included some canned food, biscuits, coffee, chocolate drink, milk powder, utensils, soap, water, towel, some clothes, etc. The rest of the items were placed back in bags and kept in another corner. Solar lanterns were placed outside so that the batteries may get charged. "You are in a bad shape, Rohan. I have brought a shaving kit also. Why don't you shave, take a bath and change your clothes?" suggested Shekhar. "Yes, Dad, it will make me fresh." Rohan brushed, shaved and went to the pond. He rubbed soap and took the bath, taking the water in a small container, careful not to spoil the pond water, which was used for drinking purpose also. He put on clean undergarments, t-shirt and trousers. In the evening, they warmed the food, had the dinner, and sat on the comfortable beds with coffee cups in their hands. The coffee tasted well. All their tiresomeness was gone. Shekhar had a big relief that he had found Rohan, and Rohan was without worry that now as his dad was there, he will certainly find some way to reach the shore. Their little new home, the tent, was extremely comfortable as compared to his last sleeping places, which were the cave, the tree, the grass, and the sea. Shekhar had given Rohan some medicines for his sore throat, and he felt much better. The coffee also helped. It took about 1 hour to discuss about their individual bizarre adventures. "What do we do, Dad, as your friend has eloped with the boat you had brought? That bastard had run away with the satellite phone too. Otherwise we would have tried for outside help." "What next then?" "We don't have any tool to make a boat or a flat platform, as you had decided. Ming had taken care of that also. The only tool we have here on this island is with our ex, and he is an arrogant person, as you have told. We will try to become friendly with him in the morning, so that he lends the knife and we make the floating platform." "Dad, do you think that he will allow us to use his knife?" "I doubt, but we will certainly try. I don't even know whether he understands some language or not. His presence here is also a mystery." "I think he understands a few words of English. He shouted 'knife' when I had his knife with me." "That was stealing, and certainly not good. His arrogance is reasonable. He thinks that we have invaded his island and his privacy. We will make him our friend, and he will happily lend us his knife. It would have been his wish also to leave this lonely place and go home. We will take him also along with us." Darkness enveloped the island. One of the lanterns was switched on and the hut lighted with the bluish-white light of the LED bulbs of the lantern. "It will not be wise to sleep carelessly until you are friendly with X. He may attack us in sleep, as we will be easy targets while sleeping. He is not pleased to see us. It is an invasion on his territory. Besides, there are many good things with us, like the tent, food, lights, beds, clothes, etc., that may lure him to kill us. We should sit on a vigil one by one whole the night." "I think you are right, Dad. You go to sleep and I will keep watch for 5 hours, and after that you may keep watch if you like." The night passed without any event. 28th March 2008, Friday. After breakfast, they had hardly kept their plates when X reached there. Perhaps the aroma of food and coffee had aroused his taste buds. Shekhar took a plate, put some warmed processed food with a few slices of bread, and started towards X. "No, Dad, no! Don't do it! That man is dangerous!" warned Rohan, and ran after Shekhar. Shekhar stood in front of X and offered him the plate. But X stood dumbly, looking hard straight into Shekhar's eyes and not at the food. The arrival of Rohan and now Shekhar was like an invasion on his privacy and ownership on this island. Suddenly his fist clenched and he hit Shekhar on his left side of jaw. Shekhar could not withstand the blow and fell on the ground. The plate and its contents hurled far away. Rohan came running and hit X with his fist on the chin. X ducked and held Rohan's hand. Rohan hit with his other hand and X caught it also. Soon they were rolling on the ground, hitting each other with blows. Sometimes Rohan was above X and sometimes X was on Rohan. Shekhar slowly lifted him up and sat on the ground. His lip was cut and he felt that some tooth was broken in his mouth. He spat the tooth and blood. He felt with his tongue and found that the third molar from the left corner of the lower jaw was missing. His head was spinning, but he ran towards the fighting men. Shekhar waited for X to come on top and jumped to lift him up from Rohan. As a result, he was also on the ground pulling X with him. Both the hands of X were down as Shekhar had engulfed him in his grip, holding him from behind. Both were on the ground and unable to free his hands. X was shouting like a beast and kicking the ground to free himself. Shekhar was strong, but he lacked the stamina because of his age. On the other hand, X was young and extremely powerful. Rohan immediately came running towards them. Unable to hold X any longer, Shekhar shouted to Rohan, "Kick him! Kick him soon! Kick him there!" He pointed the place with his eyes and Rohan understood. He hit X at his balls once. X groaned in pain and Rohan hit him again at the same place. "You keep a watch on him, Rohan. I will be back soon. And kick him more if he wishes to fight again." Within a minute, Shekhar brought a rope. Rohan was carefully watching X, ready to kick him if he got up and resumed the fight. But X neither moved nor opened his eyes. Instead, all the time he groaned with his hands on the balls. Shekhar tied his hand firmly behind his back, tied his ankle with another rope, and tied the other end of the rope to a tree. Shekhar was trembling with anger and excitement. X was not very much older than Rohan, and Shekhar felt it bad that instead of respecting him, a man of his son's age was engaged in a fight and had broken his tooth. Rohan was also upset with this and was fierce. He ran to the rocks and was soon back with a large stone. He was about to crush the head of X with it when Shekhar stopped him, took the stone far away and threw it. X watched all the time but was helpless, unable to respond. "Don't stop me, Dad. That man is a maniac. He had tried many times to kill me. I can tolerate it, but I can't tolerate the attack on you. We will have to kill him in order to make ourselves secure and peaceful on this island. This is a golden chance. He is tied and an easy target. We will kill him and bury him somewhere. Nobody will ever come to know. Rohan, have you also lost your senses like him? Come with me and show me his hut. First, let us find out who is he." Rohan and Shekhar reached the hut. There was nothing much to be seen. Rohan took out the knife from his hiding place and pocketed it, while Shekhar looked around and saw the grave, the stone and the surroundings. His eyes rested on the hanging clothes and found that these were some dirty and badly worn clothes of a child about 7 or 8 years old. They could deduce nothing from the clothes as the labels were also worn and illegible. Shekhar searched the hut and, hidden under the bed of leaves, found a secret place covered with a flat stone. The secret place was a small and clean dugout cavity of about 10 inches by 5 inches size, made to a depth of about 3 inches. Shekhar and Rohan looked at each other. Without overpowering and tying up X, it was impossible to locate this secret place, as X was always around. X would willingly tell about this place and hand over the contents to them was out of question. The contents were a worn-out wallet, a key ring containing some keys, a Parker ballpoint pen, and one battered ASA International pilot's logbook. The wallet contained substantial amount of cash in the form of Australian and US dollars, a couple of old and expired credit cards, some business cards, a worn-out driving license, and some unidentifiable photographs. The contents of the wallet merely indicated the name of its owner, and they didn't explain a thing about X. Shekhar concentrated towards the 7 3 by 4 inches by 4 inches logbook. It was an expensive one, but now it was in a very bad shape. It had 68 pages, and all the pages had got thickened and discolored due to the exposure of water and weather. Shekhar casually turned the pages. It was an old logbook, and the name of the pilot, along with the initial entries, was washed away. Some faint entries persisted, but were not properly legible and understandable. Hopelessly, Shekhar turned more pages, and his face lit up. "Rohan, let us go. I think we will know who he is." Both reached the place where they had left X, who still lay curled on the ground with his knees folded up to his stomach due to pain. He was groaning with pain and looked angrily at both of them. Shekhar sat not so far from X with Rohan and opened the first page. The name and address were so faint that they were illegible. Perhaps they were washed out somehow in the sea or rainwater, as they were written by ink pen. Shekhar checked the name on the credit cards. Andrew Walker. There were a few business cards also bearing this name. The designation was Managing Director of Walker Group of Companies. Shekhar turned a few more pages of the logbook, and all were similarly washed out, but after a few pages, more pages were written with a ballpoint pen, and this description was written like a diary. Some pages of the diary were overwritten on the previously written account of the logbook. It was evident that the writer didn't have any other paper or diary, and therefore he used this logbook. As the logbook was washed out, he had overwritten on the used pages. Shekhar started reading the pages with Rohan sitting by his side. The diary was written neatly, in an italic hand, the letters very small, as the writer feared lack of space. It read, 17th November 1989, Friday. My name is Andrew Walker, and I am from Sydney, Australia. My address is Oliver Towers, Walker Estate, Sydney, Australia, with telephone numbers 612-54-64457 to 67 and fax numbers 612-54-64468 to 70. I am the managing director of the famous Walker Group of Companies of Australia. We are among the top 20 footwear manufacturers of the world and make the Walker brand of shoes. Besides this, we are into food, beverage and tobacco manufacturing business. We have a gross turnover of $1.2 billion and growing at a fast pace. My father, Oliver Walker, had taken this business to extreme heights, and after my business studies, I too joined him. I got married to Emmy in 1981 at the age of 24 and was blessed with a son, Ryan, on 8th July 1982. I was extremely satisfied with my life. I had money, I had a happy family, and a very good reputation in the society. It was the saddest day of my life when Emmy died in a car accident in 1984, leaving behind my 2-year-old son. I have the passion of flying airplanes and have 4 of them. 1 Gulfstream G4, 1 Bombardier Challenger, 1 Piper Chieftain and 1 helicopter. I'm perfect in all of these flying machines and have about 4,500 flying hours under my belt. In order to forget my wife, I devoted my life towards my son, my business and my passion, flying. I never married again and was bringing up my son by giving him the love of mother and father both. My father was also attached to him. I had the successor to my empire. While on some business trip, I will fly my own aircraft, and most of the times Ryan would accompany me. It will give me and my son a trip to different parts of the world. We used to spend the business trips together like holidays and enjoyed a lot. This way he was always in front of my eyes. I started this 1 week's business trip on 14th November 1989 with Rohan, who is 7 now, with my staff of 5 and cabin crew of 3 persons. I reached Darwin, Australia, where we have our 1 food processing unit, in 4 hours, after covering a distance of 3,150 kilometers, attended a meeting with our plant managers and spent the night there. The next day we started at 10 a.m. for Kuala Lumpur, where we were to attend a meeting at 2:30 with some importers. It took us more than 5 hours to cover the distance of 3,660 kilometers, and we were late for the meeting, which was postponed for the next morning. The fuel tanks of our aircraft were topped up after every journey, and our crew took care of it. On the 3rd day, immediately after the meeting, we started for our next destination, Manila. It was a short journey of only 2,470 kilometers. Here I attended a party thrown by us for our dealers in the evening. We went to sleep at 10 p.m. as we were to start early in the morning for Hong Kong, where I had to sign some collaboration deal. From Hong Kong, we were to start our backward journey to home via Singapore and Darwin. At Singapore, I was to show some picnic spots to Ryan, who had eagerly waited for this day. On the 4th day, that is on 17th November, we had to go for sightseeing, as we could not get the clearance from the airport till 4 p.m. Ultimately, we started for Hong Kong and were supposed to reach there by 6:15 p.m. But on the halfway, the right engine caught fire and the aircraft plunged into the South China Sea. Ryan, as usual, was besides me, and somehow I was able to save him. However, my right leg suffered serious injuries. Besides us, all the passengers drowned to the best of my knowledge. I swam the whole evening and the night, carrying Ryan on my back. The pain in my leg was unbearable. In the morning, on November 18th, I got terrified to see the expanse of sea around me. I kept on moving in spite of my pain, only to save Ryan. The saline sea water was burning my wounds. I swam the whole day. Ryan cried many times because of hunger, thirst and the fear caused by the never-ending sea. His position was uncomfortable. I consoled him and moved on in no particular direction. I prayed all the time for the life of my son. He was very young, didn't have his mother to take care of him, and had not seen much in life. He had not even started his life. He was too young to control his hunger and thirst. Ultimately, by the grace of God, I reached at this lonely island after midnight on 19th November, Sunday. I lay on the beach, exhausted, with Rohan, who slept on my chest, and waited for the morning. I could not sleep because of the severe pain. In the morning, I looked at the cut on my leg, which was in a really bad shape. There were 4 cuts, the largest being 8 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. The cut was deep, and the complete 8 inches by 2.5 inches skin was not totally detached from the leg and was hanging. A surgeon would have cleaned the wound, kept the skin in place, and stitched all around. Rohan woke up and asked for water and food. With great difficulty, I got up and went ahead. Swimming was different, but putting weight on the leg and to use it for walking was too much. I went to the grassy field and found a small pool of water with pure rainwater collected in it. I tasted it and, finding it non-salty, called Rohan and made him drink water with my cupped hand. Now Rohan required food, and I took him towards the jungle. I found some orange-like fruits on some trees and peeled them with my knife, which I had luckily in my pocket. With great difficulty, I made him eat them, as they were very sour. He ate them because he was hungry. As it was difficult to move, I found a suitable F-shaped branch of a tree and set to work. With the help of the knife, I shaped it to suit my height. The top of the F I could keep under my armpit. The middle rung was to support my hand. I tested it, and this way a perfect crutch was ready. I could now move using this crutch, with my injured foot dangling along. I practiced it and soon was able to move nicely. Rohan was amused to look at me, struggling with the crutch. Poor boy, too young to take care about my pain. I didn't know that for how long we were going to stay at this island. When the help was to come was uncertain. Rescue operations would have been certainly launched. I thought of making a boat by cutting the woods with my knife, but that was not possible with me because of many reasons. I was neither too technical and had the proper tools, nor the stamina due to my injury. I also hoped that sooner or later help will come in some form. Therefore, I decided to make this island as my dwelling place. Drinking water was available in the small pond, which will get refilled because of frequent rains. The weather was to remain moist and warm throughout the year, and winter clothes were not necessary. Food and shelter were the main items of concern now. I tied the knife on one end of a stick and moved on to hunt for fish. With great difficulty, I caught one fish and brought a few crabs along. Fire was required now, which was the most difficult task in this damp weather. After the labor of about 1 hour by rubbing stones and twigs, ultimately fire was produced. Fish and crabs were roasted, but Rohan could eat after a lot of pursuit, pleadings and promises. I thought of the huge dining table in our house, all arranged for us, where a brigade of uniformed attendants served us with numerous dishes. I selected a place between some trees and arranged a bed of some soft leaves and twigs for both of us. 20th November 1989, Monday. I woke up with a fever. I had extreme pain in my leg and was unable to move it, but I had to work and hence got up. Rohan was asleep. By now, I had known that we were alone on this island. I went to the jungle, the small cluster of trees, and cut a lot of coconut and other long leaves and tied a bundle with some climbers which were abundantly available. I came to the place where Rohan was sleeping and set to work. I tied the strings onto the trees up to the height my hand reached and made a net of strings by using the climbers. I spread the leaves on the net in a sort of weaving-like fashion so that they will not fly away in strong winds. Rohan had woken up and was curiously watching me. He was happy to see the hut in manufacture, as it was a play for him to stay in a hut. I went to the sea and brought a fish and some crabs. This time I could produce fire easily and cook the food. After some time, I peeled a coconut and gave it to Ryan, which helped to change his taste. I selected a few stones and made a primitive stove. I used coconut shells as serving bowls and large leaves as plates. I brought a lot of dried twigs and placed in one corner of the hut. They will remain protected from rain and will dry up soon to be used as a fuel. I felt extremely tired and required some rest. I lay in my bed and slept till the evening. I again cooked the fish and we both had the same dinner and went to sleep. 21st November 1989, Tuesday. This morning was also terrible. The fever persisted. The pain was unbearable and had transmitted throughout my right thigh. The fingertips and the toes were devoid of any sensation. With great difficulty, I got up, as I had to work for Ryan. Today's agenda was to prepare sea salt, as our food was tasteless. The salt, although abundant in the sea water, was unavailable till extracted by some method. I dug some clay and made a few crude round and shallow plates with my hands. When I lighted fire to cook food, I baked the clay plates like a potter does. I filled the plates with sea water and kept in the sunlight. The water should seep through the pores of the earthen plates. The sun rays will evaporate the rest of the water and salt crystals should remain in the plate. By the evening, I was able to get some salt in 2 of the plates where I had put very little sea water. The quantity of salt obtained was not much, but it was sufficient for Ryan's food to make it palatable. And indeed, today Ryan was pleased with the fish and crab. I didn't know cooking, but gradually I was able to roast the food properly. Today the food was roasted properly and the salt improved the taste many folds. After lunch, I limped to the jungle with Ryan in search of availability of more food or any other valuable item of use. I could find dry coconuts, some tomato-like fruits, some berries, and dug some potatoes too. I came across a neem-like tree and collected some twigs, as I had heard about the medical and antiseptic properties of this plant. I tasted some leaves which were bitter, but not as much as I had heard and thought. I cut my trousers below the knees so that my wound may have plenty of air and thus heal soon. I crushed the leaves on a flat stone using another stone as a mallet and applied this paste on the wound, which now had pus inside it. Ryan came to me and was worried to see my wound. He had not carefully seen the wound, as earlier it had remained covered under the trousers. I was happy to find this medicinal plant. I felt sure that now my wound will heal soon. I chewed some leaves and swallowed them with water. This should provide some antiseptic to my body against the infection, which was gradually dissolving in my system. I thought that I will take 8 to 10 leaves of this neem plant 3 times a day as medicine for my wound. I also suggested Ryan to take this dose every day to provide immunity to fight with any disease. I wrote my diary on this logbook. We had the dinner and went to sleep. 22nd November 1989, Wednesday. The morning was terrible. Whole the night the foot ached. With great difficulty I sat and looked at my foot. The wound didn't look any better. The fingers and toes had bluish coloration. The harm was done. Gangrene had set in. Now I knew that I need the services of a hospital immediately, otherwise my life was in danger. Gangrene had yet affected only my toe, and it will only be cured by amputating it. How far the damage is done, a vascular surgeon will know. Other wounds may heal, but the stopped blood supply to the lower part of the foot was internal and permanent harm. Internal infection was there, which was the cause of my continued fever. 25th November 1989, Saturday. Both of us have adopted our lives to live on this island. Ryan is slowly forgetting about his days of Australia. He runs on the beach, plays there, and makes sand houses and figures. I have made some more clay pots and tried to teach Ryan how to make them, but he will not listen to me. He wants to run and play. He does not realize how important these things are. I am slowly dying and don't know how many more days I am going to live. I can only pray to God to grant me a few days so that I can teach Ryan some day-to-day basic things and he can live of his own when I won't be around till the help comes. I therefore request anybody who comes here and finds Ryan to make arrangements to send him to my father at the previously given address. My father will surely be very grateful, and I can assure that the person will be enormously rewarded. I also appeal to my father, although there is no need to mention to reward the person with a liberal heart. Dad, this world was very beautiful with you, and Ryan, I never wish to leave you both, but if God's wish is so, I will have to go. I love you, Dad, and I am sorry that I will not be there to take care of you in your old age. Instead, I am leaving another responsibility for you. Ryan, I crushed some dry coconuts to extract some coconut oil for cooking. I wanted to fry fish in oil along with the small tomatoes so as to change the taste. But the crude earthen pot made by me didn't withstand the heat and got cracked. The condition of my foot had worsened. The toes have turned blackish. I have cut the dangling and dead flesh, leaving behind a furrow of wounded flesh and dried tendons. The fever is persistent and the pain is now up to the backbone. 26th November 1989, Sunday. It rained the whole day. Ryan was keen to go out and take a bath and play in the rain. I didn't want him to go out lest he falls ill. Ultimately, we both went out and had a bath in the rain. I felt better. Ryan was happy, but I was worried about him. If he falls ill, he was going to suffer, as there was no medicine around. The hut was dripping at every place. Every corner, even the bed was wet. Life was hell here. To sleep was out of question. Ryan was tired and wanted to sleep. I lay on the ground and he slept on my chest. I couldn't turn or move as I feared that Ryan will wake up. The night was sleepless. The pain intolerable. How long will it go? I didn't want Ryan to suffer here anymore. He was going to learn nothing here, and his future will be spoiled here. I cannot wait for help to come here. I will have to do something myself. 27th November 1989, Monday. The rain stopped today. The whole day I was in the jungle and was collecting wood in order to make something like a boat that can float and carry us to some country nearby. I knew that I was on midway between Hong Kong and Philippines. Being a pilot, I also knew the directions approximately, but I didn't have the means to go there. I wanted to make a last effort to take Ryan to some shore and send him back to home. Perhaps I may also reach in time to have some medical assistance and get my life saved. If I died here, Ryan will also not be able to live alone. The day's exertion was too much. I was dog-tired by the evening and retired early to bed. I had replaced the wet leaves with dried ones. 28th November 1989, Tuesday. I was so tired that I was unable to get up. Ryan got up and after some time asked for something to eat. I had extreme fever and intense pain, not only in the leg but in the whole body also. When his demand became persistent, I asked him to grow up and help himself. There were 2 fish in store as an emergency. To create fire was the only difficult thing for him, and I helped him in that. I instructed him gradually and he carried on with the cooking. He held the fish on the knife, coughing and holding his one hand on his eyes to prevent them from the smoke. He cooked the fish with the other little hand. He could not cut the fish, as he didn't have that much strength and also lacked the tact with the knife. I did not eat today, as there were only 2 fish. Ryan had cooked both the fish. 1 fish he had consumed. Thinking what he will eat in the evening, I skipped the food. Because of my sickness also, I was not willing to eat anything. But nevertheless, food would have helped me. 29th November 1989, Wednesday. I rested today also. There was nothing to cook. I tied the knife on the edge of the stick. called Ryan and instructed him to go to the beach and kill a few crabs and bring them here. He had seen me doing this so many times. He came back after 1.5 hours and returned successfully with 4 crabs, as to kill a fish was difficult. 30th November 1989, Thursday. I got up with great difficulty. By now, I had learned that exertion was not good for me. I should wait for a few days, and if my health permits me, only then I will go for some physical work. I will be doing only light work. Arrangement of food is the only concern. 7th December 1989, Thursday. Ryan can kill and cook a fish by now. He had learned to make salt also. I had told him how to sharpen the knife on a stone. I had advised to take utmost care of the knife, as this was the only weapon and tool which we had on this island. If it is lost or broken, to arrange the food will be very difficult. I made a bow and some arrows and told him how to use them. I sharpened a stick with the knife and ground it on a stone to make a spear of it. I told him that he could use it as a weapon and kill fish with it. My leg is in a very poor state. The toe and 2 fingertips have turned completely brownish black and smelling foul. The remaining part of the toe is rotten and swollen. There is no sensation till ankle. If I had a sharp axe, I would have certainly mustered courage to cut this disgusting thing myself. Ryan is my son, but many times he has complained about the foul smell and the dirty appearance of my foot. He is only a kid. How can he understand about my sufferings? 20th December 1989, Wednesday. I had gone to the jungle to collect some wood for cooking. Ryan had dug the earth and brought some potatoes with him. On my return, I was surprised to find that my toe and 2 fingers, which were the worst affected parts, were missing from the foot. The remaining 2 fingers and nails were black in color, and the coloration of the foot gradually changed from black at the fingers and blue up to the bottom of the calf. The bones are visible and giving a ghastly appearance. More has to come. I have become weak from inside. I panted while walking. Fever is my continuous friend. I have lost more than 30 kg of my body weight for sure. My athletic physique, which I had only a few days before, was now a bony frame. 25th December 1989, Monday. Today was Christmas. I wished Ryan a Merry Christmas. I had left eating. My body didn't demand any food. Ryan was now on his own accord. He will be away for hours from me. He is able to arrange and cook the food. He has also learnt how to produce fire. One day he had even brought a large turtle and was asking me the recipe to cook it. There was the same recipe as usual. Just clean, roast, apply salt and eat. Only one thing was different. We could extract some oil from a coconut, apply the oil on the fish or crab or whatever we cooked, and the food tasted a lot better. Sometimes potatoes were cooked in the same fashion. All the flesh of my foot was almost gone up to the ankle, and now it was the turn of the bottom of the calf. It was the inside flesh that was rotten, and the effect on the outermost layer of the skin came later. I had further lost more weight. Now I was too weak to get up. For movements, I had to crawl on the ground. When I will die, my body will rot, and the foul smell will trouble Ryan. He might fall ill or catch some infection. I thought up a plan. 30th December 1989, Sunday. I had dug for 5 days, slowly and patiently. I had used a pointed stone and a curved piece of wood. What I had dug was a grave for myself, only 2.5 feet deep, enough to cover my frail frame. It was situated at one corner outside the hut. Its special feature was that its one side was open and was in the form of a long slope. It would have been difficult for a child like Ryan to lift my lifeless body and bury in the grave. It was also difficult for him to dig a grave. I did this to save him from the trouble. The grave was ready, and its one side had a slope. When the time will come Ryan will easily roll me into my grave and cover me with the soil, which was scattered around in abundance. Thinking that it will also be difficult for him to pull me up to the start of the slope, I shifted my bed to the corner of the grave. I will die on my bed. Ryan will roll me inside the grave, cover my body with the soil, and then my soul will rest in peace. 1st January 1990, Monday. Today was the first day of the year. I had slept near my grave. Ryan got up and came to me. I hugged him and wished him a happy new year. He lay on my chest and I was asleep again. While I was rolling my fingers in his hair, which had grown long, I also had long hair and beard. After some time he got up and I asked him, pointing towards the grave, "Ryan, my child, do you know what is it?" He simply shook his head. "Ryan, this is a grave." "A grave for what, Dad?" "Ryan, you are a boy and very small." Ryan agreed. "When you were born, you were a small baby. Have you seen babies?" "Yes, Dad, they are so small." He opened his hands to indicate how small babies are. "Have you seen old men?" "Yes, Dad. Isn't Granddad an old man?" "Yes, he is indeed." I agreed and continued. "Do you know, when a man becomes old and weak, he dies." "Dies? What happens when a man dies?" "When a man dies, it means that he has gone to God, and only his body remains here. See, Ryan, I have become very weak, and now my time has come to go and meet the God." "What will happen then?" "Then I will not speak. I will not move, and my dead body will be useless here. Then, as my son, it will be your duty to roll my body inside the grave and cover it with the soil." "But you will suffocate and die there, Dad." I laughed at his innocence and said, "You will roll me inside only when I will die, not before that." "How will I know that you have died?" I pulled him onto my chest and asked him to put his ear on my chest, close his eyes and listen to my heart. "Can you listen to my heart beat?" "Yes, Dad." "Now listen carefully, Ryan. When I will not speak and move for one full day, you will have to listen to my heartbeat very carefully. It can be very faint, but you will have to wait till it stops completely. And when you are sure that there is no heartbeat, you have to roll me inside this grave and cover my dead body with the soil. Will you do it, Ryan?" Ryan nodded. I wanted to be sure that Ryan won't make a wrong judgment and bury me alive. I was not worried or afraid to be buried alive, but I wanted to remove any doubt in the mind of Ryan, so that when he grows up, he will be beyond any doubt that he might have buried his father alive. "After that, don't ever try to uncover the soil and take me out, as it will be a sin to do so." "Yes, Dad." Ryan had started crying, as if he now understood that he was going to lose me and lose me very soon. "Calm down, Ryan. You are my brave son. You had been strong enough to survive in an air crash. You were so strong that you reached here, tearing the enormous sea waves. And now you have to promise me that you will live here bravely till some good uncle will come and take you to my dad, your granddad. Do you understand, Ryan?" "Yes, Dad." "And see," I held this logbook for him to see. "This notebook is very valuable. When you will find some good uncle, give this notebook to him and he will take you home." Ryan understood and I felt very relieved. I will be able to die peacefully now. I prayed to God to help my son and take care of him, as I was to go and meet Emmy. Emmy will call me so soon. I had never thought I simply smiled. 3rd January 1990, Wednesday. Today I wish to write something to my dad, as today I am deeply remembering him. Dear Dad, please forgive me that I am about to leave you and join Mom and Emmy any day, any time from now. By the time this notebook reaches you, I may not be alive. I am leaving behind Ryan under your care. I also regret for being of no use to you in your business and in your old age also. But I am sure that Ryan will take my place very soon. I wanted to live and spend a life with you and Ryan, but God is taking me away. Forgive me, Dad, and I love you, Dad. 5th January 1990, Friday. I have not moved from here. I feel very weak and frail. I am so weak that I will not be able to remove any fly or mosquito sitting on my nose. Thank God there are none on this island, as it is not inhabited. My heartbeat seems to deceive me. Sometimes I feel that my heart has stopped, but to my surprise, it starts beating again. My foot is rotten, dark and smelling foul. I feel that some more flesh is gone. I can also feel that the gangrene bacteria are slowly crawling up and eating all the flesh on the way. I can feel that they have damaged all my internal organs, and now they are affecting the heart and the lungs too. I did not feel any pain and worry. The wish to live was gone. The fear of death was also not there. I could see the smiling face of my mother and Amy. Both were anxiously waiting for me. I am on my way, I promised them. I had closed my eyes and felt sleepy. When I felt a soft touch on my chest, I opened my eyes and found Ryan bent over me to check my heartbeat. Seeing me open my eyes, he has felt relieved. I smiled and he smiled too. Are you all right, Dad? He asked gravely. I feel fine, son, and I will be okay soon. Do you want to eat something? I shook my head and smiled again. My son had grown so much in the past 1.5 months. I was sure that he will survive till the help arrives. These lines I have written with great difficulty. I think that I have written every detail and nothing important is left. Therefore, now onwards, I will only mention the date and write that I am alive to mark my attendance till that date. Goodbye, till I die. 6th January 1990. Alive. 7th January 1990. Alive. There was no entry after that. Perhaps he died on 7th January 1990 or on 8th January 1990, or he was alive for 1 or more days, unable to write. But the best guess was 8th January 1990. Shekhar and Rohan were watching, dumbfounded in the void, tears flowing through their eyes. Few pages of the logbook had shaken the inner layers of their souls. They could imagine a small 7-year-old child, Ryan, checking his father's heartbeat, crying over his body, rolling him down the grave and filling the grave with his tiny hands. Nobody to wipe his tears, nobody to look after him, to take care of him. A small boy living alone for more than 18 years. Such a tragedy was never heard. Shekhar reached X or Ryan, who had now composed himself and was now on their mercy. Shekhar hugged him and kissed him. Poor Ryan, you have already suffered so much. Pardon us for hitting you. Ryan was taken aback. Shekhar opened his hands while Rohan was still warning him. Shekhar again hugged him, crying and cursing his head. Even animals can understand this much love, and Ryan was a human being. Over these hard years, his tears had dried up, but now he also wanted a shoulder to cry. He too hugged Shekhar and cried hoarsely. What was he thinking while crying was unknown only to him or God. He was a kid from his heart, only his body had grown up in size and strength. Seeing them cry, Rohan could also not keep himself away. He came near to them and accompanied in the hugging and crying event. After some time, when all calmed down, Shekhar handed Ryan back his logbook, knife and other items. He opened the bag and took out a notebook and pen. Ryan was curiously watching him. Shekhar drew the sketch of a small human figure. A very basic sketch consisting of an oval round for the head, one straight line for the body, two lines each for the legs and the hands. Ryan saw it and smiled. Shekhar sketched another similar figure which was larger than the first figure. Shekhar pointed at the smaller figure and said, "Boy," and pointed at Rohan. He looked at Rohan, who seemed to understand. Shekhar pointed at the larger figure and said, "Dad," and pointed at himself. Ryan understood their relation, that they were father and son. Shekhar sketched another small figure for Ryan. He made one more figure which was lying on the ground and called it Ryan Dad. He made a gesture of sleep by keeping his folded hands under his cheeks with his head bent and eyes closed. "Ryan Dad sleep," he said. Ryan understood it and became serious. Shekhar hugged Rohan and said, "Rohan Dad loves Rohan." Then he said, "Ryan Dad loves Ryan," and looked at Ryan, who nodded in affirmative. Now Shekhar said, "Rohan Dad loves Ryan," and hugged Ryan. Ryan understood and nodded. "Now good Ryan will eat food." Shekhar got up and brought a plate of food with some bread. Ryan accepted it with thankful eyes, but was uncertain how to eat it. Perhaps he had forgotten about all that. Shekhar lifted a piece of bread along with some cooked vegetable on it and brought it up to the lips of Ryan, who opened his mouth and ate it. Shekhar did it again and then let Ryan to do it himself. Shekhar prepared coffee while Ryan finished his food. Shekhar handed him the cup placed on a plate and Ryan held it with his both hands. "Be careful, it is hot," instructed Shekhar, and pushed Ryan's finger to touch the cup, who immediately removed his hand and understood what Shekhar wanted to convey. He ought to be careful with the hot coffee. Shekhar handed him some biscuits and he received them gratefully. He was grateful to have a nice food after more than 18 years. After the food, Shekhar took out a mirror and gave it to Ryan, who looked his image curiously. Shekhar indicated at the mirror and said, "Ryan, not a good boy," and shook his head in negative, touching Ryan's beard and long hair. Shekhar asked Rohan to take out the camera and take a few snaps of Ryan with beard and long hair. Shekhar indicated at the small hair and clean-shaven cheeks of Rohan and said to Ryan, "Rohan, good boy." Ryan understood and moved his fingers in his long hair and beard. "Now I make Ryan good boy," said Shekhar and took out a pair of scissors. Ryan understood but was frightened to look at the pair of scissors. Ultimately, he agreed to the cutting of his hair. He sat obediently while Shekhar cut his hair. He had never cut the hair of anyone before, but as he had seen a barber cutting the hair so many times, his first attempt was not that bad. However, the short hair was far better than the earlier longer hair. Shekhar trimmed the beard up to stubble. Now he applied some shaving gel and developed lather over the face of Ryan. He carefully shaved his beard twice, as the hair was thick and hard. Shekhar cleaned his face with a towel and again handed him the mirror. Ryan looked at his face, smiled, and said with a terrible attempt, "Ryan, good boy." "Yes," said Shekhar and hugged him. Ryan was very happy to see himself. He was indeed a very handsome man. Shekhar took him near the pond, gave him a toothbrush, applied some toothpaste, and asked him to brush his teeth. He gave him a cake of soap and helped him have his proper bath after 18 years. "Now the clothes, but I wonder," said Shekhar. "What happened?" asked Rohan. "We don't have clothes of his size." "Then what do we do?" Shekhar rummaged the clothes bag and took out one shorts and a t-shirt. He used to wear the shorts, which was loose at the thighs, and had an elastic band on the waist belt. "This should fit him," he said to Rohan. and asked Ryan to wear it, and sure enough, the black short fitted but appeared a bit tight. Similarly, Shekhar gave him the blue t-shirt, which was loose and made of a stretchable stuff, and that too fitted like a skin-fit dress. Shekhar combed his hair. Ryan looked dashing in that dress. His enormous chest, rippling biceps, and narrow waist were a perfect fit in the t-shirt. The black shorts suited him perfectly, as he had thighs like tree trunks and shapely calves. Shekhar and Rohan clapped, and he was too happy to wear the dress. Together they went to Ryan's hut. Shekhar had picked up some wild flowers on the way. He placed some flowers on the grave and gave a few flowers to each one of the men to do the same. "And now we will pray for the departed soul," said Shekhar. Rohan and Shekhar folded their hands and closed the eyes. To their surprise, Ryan did the same. "O God, I thank you for this day, because you had been always with us and saved us from all the difficulties of life. You saved Rohan and Ryan from dying in the crash and from drowning in the sea. You have saved them from the enormous creatures of the sea. You had brought Ryan's father, Mr. Andrew Walker, safely here and kept him alive till he was satisfied that Ryan was able to take care of himself. O God, you saved Ryan for all these 18 years from all hardships of life. You saved him from all diseases and natural calamities like rain and hurricanes. It is very sad that Mr. Andrew Walker is not with us today, but I am sure that now he is with you and happy there, free from all sufferings of this world. His soul will be happy, as after 18 years we have arrived to take his son to his home. May his soul rest in peace. I request you, O God, to have mercy on us and take us to our homes safely and without any difficulty. Be with us, O Lord, be with us." "Amen," said Shekhar and Rohan, and opened their eyes. Ryan was still standing with his eyes closed, deep into concentration, as if pondering over the wordings. They all had dinner together. Ryan was very excited, as he had found a brother-like friend and a good uncle in whom he saw his father. Rain started, and all ran to the tent, taking all their picnic gear with them. There were only 2 beds, but Shekhar gave Ryan his own bed. He himself spread one blanket as bed for himself. Ryan was enjoying like a child. He touched the tent, felt the bed, and listened to the raindrops falling on the waterproof tent. He was comparing his hut with this tent and his bed with this bed. The roof of his hut dripped from every place. This bed here was far more comfortable. The food in his hut was hard to swallow, and the food here tasted so good. He looked gratefully towards Shekhar, who had a mirror in his hand and was looking carefully at his swollen face, which was the result of the broken tooth, the handiwork of Ryan. Ryan went to Shekhar and touched his shoulder. "Sorry, good uncle." He touched his ears and said to Shekhar. "Sorry for what, Ryan?" Shekhar asked. "For this." Ryan indicated his swollen face. "Oh, it will be all right," assured Shekhar. Shekhar remembered the broken tooth, took out the same from his pocket, which he had retrieved from the ground, and said to Ryan, "But this will not grow again." Ryan was ashamed and bowed his head sadly. Shekhar laughed and hugged him. "Yes, Ryan, it was bad. But I am glad that you are sorry for your fault." Darkness fell, and the lanterns were lit. They had an early dinner and all retired to their beds, as there was nothing to do on this island. Rohan and Ryan lay side by side on their comfortable beds. Rohan was playing game of blocks in Shekhar's mobile phone, and Ryan was watching with complete interest. Rohan explained him the procedure to play the game, and without any difficulty, Ryan was also able to play perfectly. After 10 minutes, Shekhar instructed Rohan to stop the game and sleep, as they had no way to charge the mobile phone's battery, and the phone may come useful in future. "Good night, Rohan." "Good night, Ryan." "Good night, Dad," replied Rohan. "Good night, good uncle," said Ryan.